Good evening, Brown community and everyone else tuning in here today. It is my enormous honor to welcome you to the 11th in our series of Brown Fashion Week Talks. I'm Emma Rosenkranz, the Vice President of Fashion at Brown, which is the student organization hosting Brown Fashion Week. We are Brown's oldest incubator of style on campus, with over 130 members in 11 departments, ranging from fashion designers to editorial, business, and more. The highlight of our year, of course, is Brown Fashion Week. And this year, we have a spectacular lineup of 15 speaker events spanning the course of 2 weeks and culminating with our design team's incredible runway show. This evening, we're in for a very special treat as we welcome 4 remarkable supermodels who are transforming the landscape of fashion today. Jasmine Sanders, Bruna, Jasmine Tookes, and Tammy Williams, who will be speaking with 2 members of the Fashion at Brown team, Taub and Nomin Baatarkhuu. So let's start by introducing our moderators, who will then have the great honor of introducing our speakers. Taub is a junior at Brown University who studies international and public affairs and aspires to attend law school upon completion of her undergraduate studies. Cindy has an interest in entertainment and fashion law, a passion that has led her to legal internships at 𝐁𝐿 Models and One Management. Additionally, Sydney heads Fashion at Brown's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Nomin Baatarkhuu is a senior studying biochemistry and molecular biology. She's on the pre-med staff, was born in Mongolia, but has lived most of her life in the DC metropolitan area. At Brown, she is the president of Women in Science and Engineering, a member of Knitting and Crocheting Club, and of course, currently a coordinator in Fashion at Brown's industry programming team. So welcome, Sydney and Nomin.
Hi, Emma.
Hello, you two. Wonderful. I'm so excited. I'm going to sign off, let you introduce our remarkable speakers, and bye for now.
Great. Thank you so much for the introduction. We are so excited to introduce our amazing panelists for the evening. So to start us off, German-born and South Carolina raised, Jasmine Sanders has made waves within the fashion and beauty industries. Jasmine has been featured on the pages of Vogue, Allure, Elle, Esquire, Glamour, British GQ, and W Magazine, has been the face of several large-scale national campaigns, including Ralph Lauren, and in 2019 was named Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Rookie of the Year, later securing the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover in 2020. Having been named to Pat McGrath Muse, Sanders' success has been noticed by many within the industry. Sanders has also done catalog for Victoria's Secret and is a social media force on Instagram, where she is known as Golden Barbie to her 4.2 million followers. Sanders' impressive line of work continues with her community engagement. In tandem with her work with anti-racism initiatives, Sanders works with Chicago's Stanley Coleman Jr. Productions educational initiative that provides scholarships to high school students.
We are also very lucky to be joined this evening by a pioneer of change, Bruna. In 2012, Cindy became the first woman of color to walk exclusively for Calvin Klein as a native of Saint Raphael, France, with Italian and Congolese heritage. Bruna's international impact on the fashion and beauty industries is incredibly palpable. After being scouted at the age of 16, Cindy has graced the pages of Vogue Italia, American Vogue, Vogue Arabia, Vogue Japan, Vogue Spain, W Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, Elle UK, and Wonderland, just to name a few. Cindy has also walked in every Victoria's Secret show since 2013 and starred in major campaigns for Prada, Burberry, and Chanel. Having amassed a large platform with her success in campaigns and on the runway, Cindy utilizes her platform to advocate for domestic violence awareness as an ambassador for L'Oreal's stand-up program, and recently raised over 15,000 euros for Solidarité Femme, an organization centered on supporting female victims of domestic violence.
Next up on our panel is the phenomenal Jasmine Tookes. Tookes has been known from an early age that she belonged in the modeling business. As the daughter of a celebrity fashion stylist, Tookes grew up behind the scenes of fashion and was discovered at one of her mother's showroom appointments. Since then, Tookes has taken the fashion and beauty industry by storm, landing campaigns for UGG Australia, Gap, DKNY, and a layout in Vogue Italia. 1 year after becoming a Victoria's Secret angel, Tookes was selected to wear the Victoria's Secret fashion show Fantasy Bra, worth an estimated $3 million in the 2016 Victoria's Secret show. While working on campaigns for iconic designers including Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, Jimmy Choo, Calvin Klein, Tookes has become a YouTube sensation with her close friend Josephine Scrua on their channel Joja, a community fitness platform with the motto Live, Train, Together.
And finally, rounding out this evening's panel, we have the incredible Tammy Williams. Born in Jamaica, Tammy came into the spotlight upon her first visit to New York, where she made her runway debut for Alexander Wang and Marc Jacobs. Since then, she has continued to make headlines as the face of Balmain runway, as a face for Calvin Klein, Valentino, and Gucci, and as a consistent opener and closer for the Balmain runway. All of which have established her as one of the top 50 models working in the industry today. As such, Tammy has become a global ambassador for Maybelline Cosmetics, cementing her status as Jamaica's most successful model in more than 30 years. On her rare days off, Tammy pursues her passion for youth and education as the Education Ambassador for the Caribbean American Society, where she assists with the organization of educational programs in Manhattan's 5 boroughs, promoting STEM, athletics, and arts for elementary students.
I know that our audience must be just as excited to hear from our wonderful panelists as Nomin and I are. So please join Nomin and I in giving a warm, fab welcome to Jasmine Sanders, Cindy Bruna, Jasmine Tookes, and Tammy Williams.
Hello.
Hello. How are you all?
Great.
Amazing. Thank you for having us.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Super excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to have you virtually here today. During a typical Brown Fashion Week, we would be seated across from each other in Solomon Center, but Zoom has made it so much easier to connect across distances and time zones. So what has life been like for each of you during the pandemic? And we can go around the Zoom room, starting with Jasmine Sanders.
Amazing. Oh my God, life has been kind of weird. I will say I have not been this long without seeing these women. We usually cross paths, whether it's at an airport or behind the scenes or backstage or something like that. So it's sad and bittersweet that we're not able to be on set and be able to be one-on-one with each other and really be able to create like we used to. But we are very blessed and very lucky to still be able to work through this pandemic and everything that we've been dealing with. So I'm just happy.
Yeah, same. Can I talk or who is talking next? I'm confused.
Go for it, Cindy.
I wasn't sure, sorry. I feel like this year has been, challenging for sure. A lot of ups and downs. That's how I feel. But it was really, I feel like during that time, I really reconnected with my family and being able to see them, spend time with them. And I feel like reconnecting with myself, kind of, which was, I think that's what I keep from all of this. So the positive for sure, but yeah, hope to see you guys very soon.
Shall I go next? Life during the pandemic for me has been very different. As Jasmine said, like we're used to being all over the place on a plane here and there, seeing all of these beautiful faces, but we were stuck at home, and I think I turned from a model into like a full-time content creator that wears all the hats. I became the hairstylist, the makeup artist, the clothing stylist. My mom was over here doing photo shoots for me. So that was very different and kind of fun in a way. But also, like Cindy was saying, it gave me a good time to like sit and really think and process everything that's really important to me. I've gotten to be able to actually take time and work on businesses that I hope to launch this year and next year. And yeah, there's been a lot of negative, obviously, for the world and everyone, getting sick. And that's so unfortunate and very sad. But there's also been a few positives that I found.
Okay. And last but not least, life for me during the pandemic, I have to say, it was an eye opener because like this is actually my first time spending so much time at home here in New York, away from all my family in Jamaica. So like during pandemic, I spoke to my family a lot and my close friends and like my loved ones. And not just that, like during the whole thing, it has also like taught me more about myself that like I didn't realize, because you know, like before I was always on a plane, like going from here to there. So I would say during like the whole pandemic, it has been an eye opener for me, and still is, because like we're still going through it. But beyond all of that, like we're all here, and I'm just like thankful and grateful. So yeah, thank you.
So I know, Cindy, that you flew in from Paris. Where is everyone else, if I could ask?
I'm in Los Angeles.
So we love to hear that you guys have been doing well during the pandemic, and you know, we really wanted to be able to talk to you guys about your amazing careers, that you guys are still working amazing during this difficult time. And so our first question is, so each of you guys began your legendary careers in modeling after being discovered as teenagers, or in Tammy's case, as an 11-year-old. Do you think that being discovered at such a young age has impacted the way you've developed, your sense of self, or your view of the world? And if so, give an example. And so why don't we start with Tammy, who obviously started off very young.
Yes, I got discovered when I was 11, but I didn't started traveling until I was 14. It definitely has changed, because one, like traveling at such young age away from my family, traveling the world and all that, like I had to grow up faster at such like a younger age compared to like a normal 11-year-old, 14-year-old teenager. And I have to say, like being in so many different places around like all these different culture, I started to look at life from a different perspective. So I would say like it's been a learning process for me, and still is. So yes.
Jasmine Sanders, do you want to go next?
Sure. I thought you might call on one of us. Sorry. I definitely think that starting at a young age, I started at 13. I was not 11. I had a little bit more of a childhood. Tammy, I'm sorry, girl. But no, honestly, it's nothing like it's really different. You have, in my case, I had very supportive parents. So all they wanted was to make sure that I had my books in check and I was doing what I needed to do in school, and then I was allowed to go to New York. So as long as I made sure that school was first, they were all good with everything, very supportive. But I feel like being in the industry that young, not only do you have to grow up fast, it's in a way, it's a little bit of a negative because you beat yourself up. You have to, you're told so often yes and no on certain jobs, and it's hard to hear at a young age. Being told no so many times, if you're not that it girl at that very, like in that very moment, it is kind of hard. It does mess with you, and sometimes it may create insecurities that I know all of us deal with. And the like they were saying, the good thing about this year is we've really been able to take care of ourselves and heal from some of the stuff that we may have dealt with, or learn to grow and move with the industry now. But I feel like it's hard for people to start when they're young, but it's also amazing because you get to travel the world, you get to bring in so many different cultures, you get to talk to so many different people, and just really learn street smarts at the same time while you're growing up and really learning and sticking to your books at the same time. So that was my experience.
Thank you. What about the other Jasmine Tookes?
I definitely think that, you know, being thrown into the modeling industry at such a young age really can take a toll on young girls. I feel very fortunate that I had my mom with me. I mean, I didn't start traveling until I kind of finished high school and I started doing homeschool. So I started traveling when I was 16, and my mom went everywhere with me until I was probably 18 years old. So I felt very lucky to have that, because like Jasmine said, like you're told yes and no and taken on all these emotional roller coasters. So it's really important, or it was very important for me to develop a really strong backbone as a young girl. And I felt like having my mom there really helped to not only like keep me grounded and keep my mind mentally okay, but just help me mature at a nice pace. And I think if I were to be on that journey without my mom, maybe I would have gone a little crazy. So I really like appreciate her for going on that journey with me and supporting me.
And then finally, Cindy.
Had the same experience. I started, I was 𝐀𝐿 when I was 16, but I started really traveling when I was 18. And I had my mom also with me until I became an adult. And I think, yeah, it could be hard. So I would say that you have to be mentally ready and mature to do this job, because sometimes it seems like it could be easy and that's okay. Like we just take pictures, but it's actually harder than that. So I do think being young can be difficult sometimes to deal with negativity and opinions and being said no or yes, like the other girl said. But I do think that it helped me build my sense of responsibility, and discipline, because we had to do it, so it helped me in that way. But yeah, it could be challenging for sure.
It's so interesting to get the insider's perspective on what your life has been like growing up within the modeling industry. And it's so reassuring to hear that you all had some familial support throughout that process. I know from an external perspective, for us looking in, the fashion world always seems to be so glamorous, and your journeys have been so inspiring. So I'm curious, what would you say the most difficult aspects of your job are, and what are the most rewarding? And Cindy, since you were alluding to this just before, would you want to start us off?
Yeah, the most difficult is definitely to be far from my family. I think that was the hardest part. It's getting easier and better now, but yeah, being far from your family, from your friends, traveling on your own can be a little hard. And I think being judged, because that's how you take it sometimes. So you really have to learn how to separate yourself and the opinions of other people, to just protect your mental health. So I think that's the hardest part, especially when you're young, because you're still building your sense of worth and you have insecurities. And we still have them, but it's just harder when you're younger. And the most rewarding is definitely seeing my mom opening one of my magazine and being proud, and like seeing her being proud is the most amazing thing.
I'll chime in next for you if you want. My answer is very similar to Cindy's. It's so hard when you miss big opportunities, or big holidays or something, and birthdays and stuff like that. It gets hard when you're traveling. It gets hard when you're not able to connect with your mom. Like I have trouble sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 8 hours ahead of her. Like I just want to tell her I love her really quick and actually hear her voice for 2 seconds. So the traveling can be hard, but like we said, we get to go to beautiful places. We get to really grow up, take so much culture in, and explore. And honestly, I didn't think that I would be able to do all of this. I came from South Carolina. I was born in Germany, but I grew up in South Carolina, and some of the places on the list that I've been, I'm just happy that I was even blessed enough to have that opportunity. So I've really just tried to take every job and enjoy it as much as I can, and know that the second that I get a break, let me get back to my family, let me get some real good cooking and just relax. So you soak it up while you can.
Okay, I'll go next. Some of the difficult things I would say is being jet lagged, like almost all the times. Missing your family, your friends, of course, especially for me, because like all my family is back in Jamaica. And I would say the cold also, because like growing up, being in Jamaica, I'm only used to warm weather. So like coming here to New York, like the very first time I left Jamaica, it was like cold, it was all snow. So I would say some of the difficult times would be that. And rewarding, I would say, like, for me is like traveling the world, meeting new people, trying new things and culture, like culture wise. Because like that is one of the best things one could ask for. And not just that, like it's also about building relationships with like people you work with, whether like other models, different hairstylists, makeup artists, designers, and the list goes on and
on. I mean, I feel like all these girls are hitting all the same things that I'm gonna say, but I think the number one difficult thing for me is missing out on experiences, whether that is people that I grew up with that are like starting to have kids, or my little sister's birthday, missing holidays that are really important to my family. That's really hard. You can never plan anything. I learned that very quickly modeling. Like my friends would be like, oh, let's go on a, you know, summer trip here. And I'd be like, great, that sounds fun. The day before the trip, you get a phone call and it's like, oh, you have to go to Paris or, you know, wherever. And you just have to say, okay, because at that time you're building the stepping stones to your career and it's a lot of dedication, but I love what I do. And I was willing to do all of that to, you know, get where I am and be really happy and reach my goals. I think another difficult thing is always being looked at or judged. Modeling is something really different than I feel in any other industry, because we're being judged on literally our looks, like your body, your skin, your hair, everything. Whereas if you're an athlete, you're being judged on how you play, how you throw a ball. If you're an actress or an actor, you're being judged on how you deliver the lines. Like for us, it's literally how you look. And you can't really change that, especially like when you're a young girl, you can't do anything about it. So I feel like that's really difficult. And again, just constantly reminding yourself that you can do this, you're beautiful, you're strong, you know, all of that is really important. And I think on the upside of things, it's just been so awesome getting to meet other girls like these girls here that understand everything that you're going through, that get like the ups and downs of the industry. Also getting to travel to the most insane places that you would never be able to go when you're that young. It does suck that sometimes you're alone, but it's so cool. You can take photos and share the memories with your family later. What else? I mean, I love makeup and glam and everything. So I think that's always really fun for me to walk into a set and see what the hair look is going to be that day, or the makeup, and just, I love getting dolled up. So that might be like on the top of my list.
That's amazing. And on a similar note, you know, we've heard about the, you know, upsides and downsides of modeling, but we also know that you have all been incredibly successful in your careers, and you wear many hats from your day-to-day, you know, building up your careers as well. So I would want to ask, if you hadn't become a model, what do you think you would be doing? And I guess we can start with Jasmine, either Jasmine or...
I'll go. Well, I just said I love makeup and stuff, so I maybe would have been a makeup artist. I think it'd be so fun. What else? I think acting could be fun. I don't know. I think makeup. I love makeup.
I would probably be right along with Jasmine, because I was either going to go into nursing or probably do something in the field, just because my mom's a makeup artist. So I've always been around just someone showing me makeup, growing up around like looking at different perfume bottles and just being so excited about the pages of the magazine. So my new love though is really like being behind the scenes. Like I really enjoy, since we learned so many tips and tricks on how to style outfits, do our hair and makeup, like everything while we're on set. We're able to just soak it up from everybody, and we're soaking it up from experts. So at that point, I'm just like, you know what, maybe I can, now that we're dabbling into this whole content shooting at home, I'm getting kind of good. So maybe production, guys.
And for me, if I wasn't doing modeling, I would definitely be going back to school. I finished high school, and after high school, I had to like move to New York City to do like modeling full time. So if I wasn't modeling, I would definitely be going back to school for business management. That's about it for now, I think. I'm pretty sure as like the days and years go by, like it'll change maybe, or like I'll find something else that I want to do. But for now, like it would be school.
Yeah, mine is less glamorous, guys. When I was younger, I was good in math and I wanted to be a math teacher or an accountant, which is kind of boring, I think. I mean, I don't know. I was just different. And then I became a model and everything changed. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And now it's completely different. I'm thinking about other jobs kind of, but I'll keep it to myself. But before I wanted to be an accountant.
I know we were just discussing our possible career pivots, but I'm curious what your career transition has looked like as you've moved throughout the modeling industry. So for newer models, it may be difficult to move between commercial work and break into the echelons of high fashion. Jasmine Sanders, you began your career modeling for Ralph Lauren and Abercrombie. Jasmine Tookes, your first commercial campaigns were for UGG Australia and Gap. So I'm curious for all of you, did you feel that you encountered any barriers in your rise to the top, and would you approach them any differently using the knowledge you have of the modeling world right now?
Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, I'll go first. I was very lucky and still am to have like such a strong supportive system behind me with like all my agents across the world and my manager back in Jamaica and my family. So like for barriers, I would say, no, I haven't, which is really good, but also kind of bad in a way. But like for me, I haven't yet. So, yeah.
For me, do I feel like I've encountered any barriers? I think when I started modeling, and still a little bit now, I'm very shy and I don't really open up to people. So I feel like I put a barrier on myself where like, you know, I would walk into a casting room and be really quiet and like to myself, and people, you know, sometimes want a little bit more personality. And I just always stayed really true to myself. And I was like, you know, this is how I am. I'm not really comfortable like talking out loud that much and being all, you know, out there like a lot of the other girls. So I really stayed true to myself. And I think looking back, if I would change anything now, I would probably say no, because I love authenticity and I would never want to walk in a room and be someone that wasn't true to me and be like, hi, oh my God, I'm Jasmine Tookes, I'm here, like book me. Because I feel like it would come off really fake. So I don't think that I would change anything, but I do think that was a barrier for me myself. And maybe I could have done bigger and better things had I not been so shy. But yeah.
I'll go. If anything, I started at a really young age. So starting at 13, I had very much a baby face, had a little extra weight on me. And I really wanted to be walking that runway like all of my other friends. And I had to really just sit back and accept at that moment that it wasn't my time to be on the stage. It was my time to really enjoy being in magazines and working and doing more beauty stuff. So if anything, I feel like I was in a little bit of a box at a time, but that's honestly, it's allowed me to really grow, really learn the industry and be prepared for the second that I stepped into a room with Katie Gran and had to walk for her and not be nervous and know what I was talking about and know how to move and just act like a pro. I feel like if I would have jumped in at 13, I definitely would be on my girls like, please help me. How do I do this? And Cindy can tell you, I definitely still go to her and I'll be like, girl, I'm nervous. And she's like, you got this. So it definitely doesn't break. The age hasn't changed. I'm almost 30 now and I'm still nervous sometimes, but you gotta be able, like Jasmine said, don't be fake in any type of way, but still be able to open yourself up a little bit to, especially for me, let people know that I need help and kind of want to learn the ropes from the pros. So be ready to learn, be willing to learn.
True.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you guys kind of said it all in the way. I feel like for myself, yeah, I kind of put I limited myself in a way and put barriers in myself because I was taking the opinions and the judgment, and at some point I kind of lose myself because I wanted to please everyone else. And we're in the industry where we meet a lot of people, a lot of clients, and they all want, you can't change who you are, right? And trying to please everyone is not really the way. So I think something I would change would be this, to just stay myself and authentic, as Jas said. I think that's it. And just being surrounded by good people and good agents and people who really want the best for you and they have the best intentions. I think it's really, really important.
So kind of on the same vein, we're really lucky to have all four of you here. You guys have different backgrounds. Jasmine and Cindy, you guys are both mixed race and raised in Europe. Jasmine, you're of African American descent, and Tammy, of course, you're from Jamaica. And we know that we often hear that in the modeling industry, there's some pressure on models to fit a certain beauty standard that's often Eurocentric and very non-exclusive in many ways. How have your personal identities shaped your experiences within the fashion industry?
Tammy, you want to go or you want me? And you wanted me, right?
Okay, yeah, Jasmine.
Okay. Well, just to say, I was born in Germany, but I was not raised in Germany. I was raised in South Carolina. So that's just a tiny correction. But for me, I don't really feel like, oh my God, Tammy, you might have to take this one before me. Do you mind saying the question one more time? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, of course. Just in general, like how has your personal identity, which could be like, your ethnic background or just like where you were raised or the people you were around, how have they shaped like your experiences within the fashion industry and the people in it?
I think that we all just have to do our part. If anything, being able to walk into so many rooms that you may not feel like you would have been able to enter before, just going in there and being proud and having that conversation and know that you're speaking for other people, not just yourself. You stumped me on this one. I don't really feel like it's held me back in any way. I feel like how it was such a look on girls who grew up in Europe, born in Europe, raised in Europe. They were such a look for a long time. I think the world finally opened up, the fashion world finally opened up and allowed people that look like all of us. So that way we can embrace each other. We can see a different side of beauty. But I sat back and I just allowed every other girl to get their jobs because I knew that was their time and it wasn't my time yet and it would come and we just have to be ready when it does. So that's me, guys. I'll let you have it.
Okay, I'll go next. And well, as what Jasmine said, like for me, it's like each one help one, like it's not just about me. And like, so like I have this mentality. So like if I go to a casting for like a particular job and I don't get the job this time, I'd be like, okay, like this time didn't work out, but I'll get it next time, like this time is for like another model and not just myself. So I would say that. But like I also had this one experience where I was told that I was too pretty for a show, but being told that, I was like, okay, thank you. But like at the same time, like in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, like I'll move on to the next one. Maybe next time this job like will work out for me. And like and also like this all goes back to like a good support team, like a strong management support system behind you, because like as what like the girl said earlier, it's not easy to hear no like so often, especially at such a young age. So for me, like I always, like if I hear no, or if something doesn't work out for me, or like being from Jamaica, okay, when I just started, I couldn't really speak like the standard American English, because like in Jamaica, like we speak more broken English. So in the beginning, I was more scared to have like certain conversations, because I'm like, oh, well, but maybe they won't understand my accent. So like it was like that for me. But like whenever I hear no or something doesn't work out, like I just like, I talk to my agents and I talk to my family about it, and I like and I go on and say, oh, this doesn't work out, and maybe next time it will. So like for me, it's all about working together and working as one, and not just working for you like as an individual. Yes.
I think my personal identity has definitely shaped a lot of my experiences in the fashion world. When I started modeling, I remember walking into castings or runway castings, and I would be the only Black girl. And I was just like, oh gosh, okay, this is a little awkward, like, but that's just the way it was. And it was either me that would book a show or another Black girl. And every single experience on the runway for the first, I don't know, 5 years of my career, I was only Black girl walking down the runway. So that for me, I felt like built me up a bit to be like, kind of like a girl that other young Black girls could look up to. And nowadays things have changed. Luckily, there's like, you know, all of us can be on a runway together. But a lot of those experiences really stuck in my head. Even showing up to set sometimes and the makeup artist not knowing how to do my makeup, I'm like, oh gosh, this is crazy. Like those experiences are real and they do happen. They still do happen from time to time. I'm not going to say everything's perfect now, but it really helped shape me to be really strong. And, you know, now so many people these days are able to, you know, speak up and say if there's, you know, any issues or if they're not okay with anything. And yeah, I mean, being Black in this industry has definitely shaped a lot of my experiences.
I would say that while growing up, I wasn't really aware of the lack of diversity in the industry, even though I wasn't always represented. But it was like this, like I was like, okay. And then when I started being a model and I got the first no because they were not looking for a Black woman, I was like, okay, good. Wow, that was like a hit, you know? And then I became the first Black model to work exclusive for Calvin Klein. And even though I was honored and super happy, I didn't realize the weight of it and what it actually represented. And now that I do, yeah, something was off, and it was 2013, and me being the first one, even though I was honored at that time, was not okay. So I think at that time I realized that the industry definitely needed more diversity and to be more inclusive, and that's where we're going now. So we actually getting there. So we just try to keep pushing. We do have to keep pushing because we have a lot to do.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of your work requires that mantra, rejection is redirection, but at some point it does back into the question, like, when is the industry itself going to change? So having worked extensively with makeup companies and of course your extensive knowledge doing your own makeup, it seems that we're seeing a trend where many makeup brands have started expanding their shade ranges to address the huge market of women of color that have been neglected previously. We're also seeing more diversity in mainstream beauty ad campaigns. So as models of color, how does this seemingly simple change to inclusivity and market reach resonate with your experiences, be it as a consumer yourself or as a beauty professional? And we could start with Tammy, because I know you're one of the global ambassadors for Maybelline.
Yes, well, I'm very proud and I'm honored to be one of the faces and spokesperson for Maybelline. Like, it is one of the oldest makeup brands. I would say, like, it is really exciting that, like, nowadays, like, we have choices, because, like, back then compared to now, like, for example, like with the foundation, like there's like different ranges of like skin tone with the foundation. So I would say, like, it is very exciting to have choices for me personally and young girls and like other women out there. And not just that, like I really hope that like all the girls, the young girls that would see me walking these shows or on the pages of these magazines, like to actually say to themselves, oh, like there's actually hope. There's actually hope for themselves, because like a young Black 22-year-old girl from Jamaica, like if she can do this, then someday, one day, like I can do this. So that's what I really hope. And like it's all about the change. Like it is changing, and like it has changed and it's still changing, but like the really good thing is that like we now have more option and choices, so that's a really great thing.
Cindy, would you
I'll
like
go.
to?
Oh. Cindy, go ahead.
I just feel she's right. Like I feel like being able to find, you know, the right foundation shade, or opening a magazine and seeing a woman of color, or looking at Maybelline and seeing Tami, I feel like, yeah, we are represented and recognized. And I think it has a huge impact on our own sense of worth as well, like how we build a sense of worth, and being recognized is a big deal, and seen and represented. And yeah, so all of this is good, and I'm glad that the industry is actually finally reflecting that.
I'll go. I think that it's amazing because we all come in different shades, and just that being said, we should have that many shades to choose from. We should not go into stores and feel like, oh my God, I cannot figure out what tone or what this, and or in our cases, sitting in a makeup chair and feeling like they can't mix your color right. Like I feel like it's a really big deal to have companies like Maybelline, Show Tami, companies like Pat McGrath have those foundations, Fenty, just to have so many different foundations for us to choose from, because I may be this shade, but my cousin looks more like Tami. So I want to be able to go to the same store, to the same counter, and shop with my cousin or shop with my sister, and not feel weird or any type of, what word do I want to use? Feel like we don't have, I don't know, just feel like we don't have something and there's nothing available in our color. So I think it's a beautiful thing that they're starting to give so many different shades. And I think that it's a huge thing in the industry that they're really being inclusive when it comes to the billboards and the girls that we see when we are shopping.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know why it took so long for people to make better shades. It blows my mind. Again, like going backstage at shows, I always had my little kit because I just knew that they wouldn't have my color. And like, there's so many makeup brands out there that would just make, you know, a very small range of colors. So I'm like, okay, I have to bring my little kit with me. And I would sit in the makeup artist chair and she's like, oh my gosh, I got to go down and get my little secret stash of like products down here because whatever brand was sponsoring the show at that time didn't have it. So I think it's so important because I have a pretty strong backbone, but I know that, you know, young girls going backstage and going in stores and, you know, seeing that they're not represented could be really hurtful and could make them think that they're not good enough. I get messages every day on Instagram of girls asking me, how are you okay with your skin tone? Like, I don't feel comfortable with my skin color. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could tan all day, every day, I would, because I would want to be darker and more glowy. Like, I love it. So it breaks my heart because, you know, girls that are a little bit more insecure need to feel represented, whether it's at the store, buying makeup, the drugstore, at a fashion show, a photo shoot, wherever they are. And I'm just glad that now brands are starting to realize that.
You guys brought up many great points about how, you know, just like representation and seeing someone who looks like you can really change how people feel, just, you know, shopping in the store or as models themselves. And, you know, some people might also say social media has played a role as well in, you know, increasing the representation. And, you know, social media can give you a great platform to, you know, shape societal perceptions of beauty and strength and, you know, what it means to be successful. But, you know, sometimes we see that these platforms can come with caveats. And sometimes we've heard stories about exploitations of power in the fashion industry. do you think that calling out powerful people who exploit their positions and holding them accountable for wrongdoing has had a meaningful impact on how safe you feel working within fashion?
I'll go first. 100%. Anyone that does anything wrong should absolutely 1,000,000,000% be called out. Just because you have this high power and you're the boss of this brand, or you are a billionaire, or whatever you are, like, you can't just get away with these kinds of things. And also, I think of myself having a kid one day and having a young girl, and I would absolutely be so disgusted if my young girl had to walk into a place of business where she's supposed to feel safe, and someone of higher power, you know, does something that they're not supposed to. That to me is just so horrible. And I think it's so awesome that now everyone has a voice. Social media, you can't do anything because social media will call you out immediately. So I think that, like, what's been going on lately is so awesome, and everyone deserves, you know, punishment, not like not like a real punishment, like deserves to be like fired and, like, you know, get the consequences.
I'll go next. I strongly feel that everyone should be able to feel safe and be protected and not have to walk and look over their shoulders wondering if something bad is going to happen today, or if the same thing that happened to someone like in the past is going to happen to them, because they're doing the same, like around the same people or in the same environment. So I would say, like, it is really good that, like, the truth is coming out. And I strongly agree, like people should actually, like, people should pay for their actions. So yeah, I say it is a really great thing, especially with social media nowadays, because whether we want to believe it or not, like, social media is the new thing, like, it is there to stay. So it is really great, and everyone should feel safe and protected and not have to worry or be afraid.
I feel like you guys have chimed in a lot on social media. So I do want to say that when we're on set, I just want to make sure if anybody is actually modeling or wanting to model that's watching this, that you guys know that you have support. So even if you don't want to take it to social media and tell someone on social media about it, if you know you're in an uncomfortable position or something, step aside, say you need to go use your phone or go to the bathroom, and just take a little bit longer and call your agent or call your mother or call somebody that you know can protect you and get you out of a very uncomfortable position. Don't stay in it. And if it's already happened and you feel comfortable enough to speak out about it, know that people are going to support you, and that a lot of people have been in your position, and you are extremely strong for speaking up, and we need it, because if we don't start speaking up about the people that are doing these horrible things, then it's going to either happen to us, or it's going to happen, like Jasmine said, to our kids or one of our friends or cousins or something that's in the industry, and it's scary and it's sad and it needs to stop. So I think like Tammy said, it's, some people just really need to, some people need what they like get from those actions. Like you might have to go through the worst of the worst and get fired, but you should have never done that decision or made that decision in the beginning, because you've hurt someone that's going to have to do a lot of healing because of it. So it's sad.
I completely agree. And I think, I mean, I'm glad to see women speaking up. And I think we should empower women to talk about any type of violence and harassment. We definitely need the support. The good thing with social media is that you can create a bigger community and you can, you know, bring it out, which is really good. But I do think also that it's important to talk in your small circle, you know, with your family, with your friends, and really seek the help you need to heal. So yeah, that's what I think.
Everything that you have said about speaking out about issues and empowering women, both off social media and on social media, is so important and so resonant. And Cindy, I know you have utilized your platform to advocate for domestic violence survivors as an ambassador of L'Oreal's Step Up program. So I'm curious, how do you prioritize empowerment within your philanthropic endeavors?
I feel like women should feel safe and be safe everywhere in the street and at home. I'm the ambassador of Solidarité Femmes, which is a charity and organization based in France. But I'm also with Safe Horizon, who is they are in New York, and they provide services, social services for victims of domestic violence and any type of violence for women. I think, especially during that time we're going through right now, staying at home when it's supposed to feel safe can be dangerous for women. So using your platform and talking about this issue and removing the stigma around this issue, because most of people, they don't really want to talk, or they think, oh, it's not my problem because it's happening in someone else's home. So I shouldn't really take part of it. And I feel we all have the responsibility and we can all do something, even though it's just talking about it and creating that conversation in your own circle on social media or not. I feel like it could help one woman or more to just leave a situation of abuse, which is precious. So just let's do it, because we all have that power.
Thank you for the amazing insights on, this especially important topic, with women's safety in the fashion industry and beyond. On the same topic of, your work outside of modeling, Tammy and Jasmine Sanders, we know that in your free time, you both work with the SCJR Educational Initiative in Chicago. Could you tell us more about this initiative and why it's important to teach modeling skills while promoting education?
Or you want to go first, Jasmine, or should I go? Okay, so I have been working with the kids in Chicago and also with Stanley, my friend Stanley Coleman. Together we do these fundraisers to fund college scholarship drive for kids. And for me, education is so important to me because I didn't really have that opportunity to have to attend school every day when I was growing up. And I'm saying all this, and all of this is outside of modeling. I didn't go to school as much when I was modeling because I was always traveling. But before that, I didn't go as much because of we faced struggles and a lot of stuff that the people wouldn't really know because I don't really talk about it. So for me, I really want kids to have a proper education and and have the ability to say yes to something or no to something when it comes towards colleges and universities and stuff like that. And teaching modeling, to me, modeling is a discipline and a behavior. It also ground them for example, for me now that I'm here and I can actually be on this panel and speak with everyone and not be as nervous as I thought, that is actually really good. And not just that, modeling is an art, I would say, an art, a craft, and it also teaches a person to be confident in themselves and not just, I'm tall and I'm slim, I can walk the runway and be glamorous. No, it is much more than that. And I really enjoy working with the kids and working with Stanley. And I'm looking forward on doing more stuff. And I do work with an organization here in New York. It's called the Caribbean American Society of New York. And together we do a lot of other things, but I will post more on that the coming months. But for now, the kids in Chicago, we try to raise as much as we can to support the kids going off to colleges and doing other things.
That's amazing.
Sorry, I'll chime in with what Tammy was saying. I think the biggest part for me is really just being able to show those kids that we have time for them, that other people have time for them, that they're worth it, and really showing them that they can be confident. Seeing them ooze confidence on those screens really builds me up every day. And I feel like that's something that you really need when going into life or when trying to be successful in life. So just allowing an hour out of our day, I feel like is nothing to be able to get on with those kids and get on with Stanley and just show our support, and also let everyone know, like Tammy was saying, we get nervous. We get nervous like everyone else. So it's okay to be vulnerable and be honest and let people know, like, hey, I'm a little nervous, I'm a little scared, but we got this and we're gonna do it. And me and Tammy hype each other up before we go on camera with the kids, and then we get on with the kids and we do the same thing for them. And sometimes they have no idea, but then other times we'll let them know, like, no, we were nervous to meet you guys. Like, it's a new job every day. It's still fresh, it's still new. You still get nervous on your first impression. So it's just really helping them build their confidence and make sure that they know that they can be creative and fun and have their own personalities and take over.
So inspiring to hear you guys talk about your interactions with the kids, and it sounds like you really have the opportunity to empower them. And Jasmine Tookes, I know you've been able to do something similar with your fitness brand, 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿. It's amassed a following over 700,000 on Instagram and 100,000 on YouTube. So why is it important to you to create a friendly communal forum for fitness on social media?
Well, I think first of all, social media can be very negative, and you know, Josephine and I didn't start 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 to be a brand and just sell a bunch of products. We started it first to build a community of young women where people could come together and find a joy in working out and living a healthy lifestyle. Doesn't mean going to the gym, could be getting up and going for a walk one day. Josephine and I became friends through fitness, and we really built our relationship from holding each other accountable. And I think that if you have a buddy that can keep you accountable, it really can make working out fun, because we all know we love to wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm so lazy, I don't want to work out. But if you've called your friend and you're like, hey, tomorrow morning we're gonna, you know, go on FaceTime together like it has been during the pandemic, and we're gonna do 100 sit-ups, and just little fun things like that have been really awesome. And we didn't think that the 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿 community would turn into what it is today. We have girls from Thailand reaching out to girls in Poland and working out with each other. One girl's up at 6 a.m., another girl's up at 1 p.m., and they're doing it with each other. So I think it's been really awesome that we've been able to bring so many people together that would have never met each other. And also, everything is so positive on 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿. I don't think I've seen one negative comment. It's just constantly girls lifting up girls. And that is more important to us than anything. And I think that it's just amazing. We're super proud of it, and we're super proud of like everything that we're going to build in the future. And yeah, if anyone's ever not feeling motivated, head over to 𝐂𝐿𝐻𝐿. We'll motivate you some way or another.
Thank you so much for, you know, this inspiring, you know, talk. And so, you know, as many of you know, a lot of seniors are tuning in to this, a lot of people that are, you know, going out into the world, you know, in this, you know, difficult time. What words of advice would you give to our audience as they seek self-empowerment and aspire to make changes in the world, whether it's global or, you know, on a smaller scale?
I would say it always empowers me when I set goals for myself. My whole life, ever since I was a little girl, I would literally write down on a piece of paper my goals from 1 to 10. I know my mom is watching this, and she has the same piece of paper since that I wrote all those goals on. And I found that it really empowers myself when I reach those goals. So it could be the smallest thing, like I want to be able to run a mile in a month. Like, great. Once you reach that goal, you're like, oh my God, I did it. And you feel so good about yourself. So I think my advice would be setting goals, big or small.
Okay, I'll go next. I totally agree. It is definitely setting goals, and once you achieve that one, like your mindset should actually be, okay, like I achieved this one, I have to like set one that's like bigger than the one I just achieved. And not just that, like for me, I would say be true to yourself, because that is very important, and stay close to your family and friends. and your like where you're from, because like at the end of the day, like it actually helps to like to build who you are, like growing up in a certain environment. And last but not least, I would say to speak up and speak out, and the ability to say no, or like to try but like say no, but to also be like positive about it whenever you're in like a certain situation or you feel discomfort. So yes, that's what I would say.
Cindy.
Go for it. Go for it.
Well, you said seniors, so I will say congratulations, because I know it's been intense. This has been a crazy year. It's also very different because I guess you guys aren't on campus and doing everything through Zoom instead of being on like hands-on with everything. I also am not in school, so maybe that's not how things are going. But I just want to say congratulations that you guys got this far, and really just don't take no for an answer. If you feel like it's your goal, if it's something that you set and you really want to work towards, put in that hard effort and work towards it. And you never know, somebody might meet like that might be that person that could change your life. So just be ready for that experience and have fun with it. Life's crazy, so take it one day at a time.
I like that, have fun with it. I definitely agree. I think I would say that don't let your fear limit you, because sometimes we don't want to dream, and I was like that. I didn't want to dream because I thought it was too crazy, and that I don't know, I was just scared. So try not to let your fear and like get in the middle of your dream and just follow it. And yeah, just go for it. And yeah, that's it, I think. What else? Yeah, you got this. You got this.
Be more like Cindy, guys. You got this.
Well, thank you again. I know we're running out of time, so thank you again for your inspiring words and for answering our questions. We loved hearing you guys talk, and we're so thankful that you guys took time out from your busy schedules to talk to us, and we're so excited to see what's in store for the future. And yeah, so thank you all.
Thank
you
you.
guys so much for having us. It was a great evening speaking with everyone and answering all your questions. I learned so much from just talking to these girls right here. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see your beautiful faces again. It was lovely meeting you too. Thank you.
It was
Yes,
nice.
thank you guys so much. It was so much fun. I love when we get to have these talks because it really shows that like we're all kind of on the same page. We're not here alone.
Thank you, guys. And I missed you girls. I wish I would be able to see you soon. And thank you for having us. That's great.
Your words are so resonant with not only like Brown and RISD students watching, but with like aspiring change makers everywhere. And I'm feeling so inspired from everything you spoke about today. So with that, I want to thank you guys again. And I want to thank our audience for joining us today. We hope to see you again at one of our wonderful Brown Fashion Week events, the next being this Thursday. So for more information, feel free to give us a follow on Instagram at Fashion@Brown. So goodbye for now and have a lovely evening.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.